Hey everybody, this is John. Today I want to go over how we coach changing direction with our athletes. You could go very deep into this, but we kind of like to keep it simple with a few drills or two. There's really two main things that we like to focus on because we feel like it translates the most to their sport, but also it's the easiest thing for them to kind of get and then get a base understanding of how to change direction. Now, changing direction is just managing your center of gravity. So our center of gravity, if we squat down, is right in our belly button. So if we lean to one side, my center of gravity is going to shift over to the side I'm leaning to. Same thing if I lean here. So we have to teach them, and also too, that's going forward or back. So if we do a jump, they jump and then land. If they fall forward, they're not managing their center of gravity correctly, or same thing if they're falling backwards. So them managing their center of gravity so they can keep their balance while changing direction with losing minimal speed, okay, is going to make them a better, more effective athlete. Also, too, is going to help them injury-wise, because if they're putting too much weight on their outside leg and demanding too much of one leg, kind of last second, that's where things can kind of get sketchy. So with the changing direction, we really want them, if we know where we're going, okay, we want them to lean in the direction that they're going next. So we do a lot of drills where, say I'm going to run, I'm going to come up to this line, touch the line, and then run back. Now, I know that I'm running back to this line. So when we come here and we would sprint, okay, we know we're coming this way, so we want to lean that way, but I have to touch this line first. So we start telling them to lean. They start sitting their center of gravity back. They put all their weight on this leg because we know we're going there next. Okay, we tell them to touch the ground because we want them to get low. So when they're lower, they can come out and accelerate better, pushing forward instead of pushing up and staying up the whole time. So they lean in, all my weight is here, they're gonna touch, and then from here, they're gonna push back as fast as they can to this line. Now, we like to say, add a bunch of different lines. So we'll say, hey, run to the 10, and then back, and then they're gonna go all the way down and back. So we want them at different speeds and different distances. So we'll say, I want you to go 5 and back, and then we're gonna go 10 and back, so they can have a different increased speed that they have to decelerate, lean in the position they need to go in, and then come back and then go out of it as fast as they can. But also, you never know when you're gonna have to change direction in your sport, so it's good to have shorter and longer distances. Now, with this, if they lean too far to the outside, they're gonna come out here and they're gonna touch, and they're gonna have to come back, and they're gonna feel like they're stuck, and they gotta come out and run the other way. That's when athletes start realizing, hey, I got stuck there, I felt slow, versus when they come in and they lean all their weight on this leg, touch, and they can come right out of that. Now that is where they feel fast, and then it starts clicking to, like, when we're doing the drills and they come off right afterwards and we're like, hey, you need to be on the balls of your feet, and you're not leaning far enough, and they're like, yeah, I know, I felt it. I felt like I was slow coming out of that one turn. And they know when that happened and when they were, realizing that, hey, I wasn't as fast as I should have been. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for them to know, hey, if I'm on offense in whatever sport and I'm going this way, they don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going to go that way. They're going to then lean and take advantage of that. Or if they see an athlete going this way and they're coming towards me, okay, if my center of gravity is this way as a defense and they're on offense, they're then going to go the other way, and they can choose that based off watching someone's center of gravity. Leading into our next topic, or what we do with our athletes with change of direction. So they know where they're going, so they would come up, they'd lean, and they would come out of that. Then we do where they don't know. So we would say have two athletes mirror each other. Say I'm trying to juke out the one in front of me, so I'm taking what I have the 5 yards, I can side shuffle, touch, and come back, and the other person's supposed to watch and mimic what I'm doing. And then whenever the coach says go, that's when they're gonna turn and run. But they don't know where, the other person doesn't know where they're going, so they have to keep their center of gravity in the center. Versus if they lean too far this way, and then the other person goes that way, they're stuck, and they gotta try to come out of it. So they're trying to mimic them, but be center the entire time. So they're here, okay, they're not really leaning any way, and they can take advantage of that. So those are the two things that we really focus on with the athletes, because that's gonna translate more into their sport. Think of like offense, defense. If they know where they're going on offense, they can then look at somebody else's center of gravity and then make decisions based off that and lean in the direction they wanna go. Or if they don't know, say they're on defense, they can watch somebody base off their center of gravity, make decisions, and be neutral, say, hey, he's leaning this way, but he might try to cut it back, so I'm gonna stay neutral on him until they make a decision and stop them from there. So that's pretty much what we really like to target. There's other things, and you can get more specific, and certain athletes are at different levels than others. So then you can say, hey, you know, coming out of that, they may have a good lean, but they may be touching perfectly, but then they come and stand up right after that. Then it starts getting into more of an acceleration thing. Hey, you got to stay low, and you got to maintain that position. That just comes down to coaching what we want to do with the athlete. So if you have any questions, please let us know.